Hey, hello, everyone, StarryZ here, and would you look at that, another week has passed and we have another PvP-centered update, so I have nothing to talk about. Until Agamatsu said Bloodweave is basically confirmed for Holotide. Huh. So yeah, Bloodweave, that's what we're talking about today. So if you don't know what Bloodweave actually is, Bloodweave is basically the blood mantra attunement of Deepwoken. At least that's what people have been calling it. I don't know what the official name is going to be, or if it actually is called Bloodweave. I don't care. So anyways, this video I just want to talk about like what I hope Bloodweave is, and what I hope they don't do with this Bloodweave attunement. Because if I remember, they weren't going to add Bloodweave originally just because you can't be that creative with blood was their excuse, even though how do you be creative with metal magic? Yet they found a way to be creative with metal magic, and look where we are now. I don't know, it's just a fun time. So, Bloodweave, I really hope it's a fun mantra, and of course, not a Holotide exclusive obtainable, because hiding an entire attunement behind the month of Halloween, or during Holotide, which is what, like 3 weeks? 2 weeks? I don't know. Hiding an entire attunement behind that time frame it's just kind of stupid to me, you know? Like, again, Deepwoken, this is the game where you're making builds upon builds upon builds and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And yet, one of the more interesting mantras that's being released, or interesting attunements that's being released, is going to be hidden behind Holotide? I don't know, I just hope that isn't the case, and rather just like, hey, we have these blood-themed oceans and a horror-themed map, so why not, we'll also release Bloodweave alongside Holotide, instead of just like having it being purely within Holotide. Does that make sense? Am I saying this right? I don't know. But yeah, my hope is that Bloodweave is at least interesting and not just like, we're adding a new attunement to the game. Oh, majority of the player base is PvP based, so let's make this mantra very PvP viable and not really worry about the PvE side of things, because that sucks. Because let's be real, I play a lot of PvE, and while I do like experimenting with different types of PvE builds and sometimes going into PvP, even though I don't really like Deepwoken's PvP, I've said this in the past, I've said this multiple times, don't like Deepwoken's PvP. What I do like is how at least every mantra in some way, shape, or form, every attunement is viable in PvE. Sure, many excel, like fucking Frostdraw and Ironsing, however, you're not going to bring Thundercall into a PvE build. Not saying it's bad for PvE, rather just there's better options out there. And I'm hoping like Bloodweave, apart from having a lot of PvP potential, like Ironsing, also has a lot of PvE potential. Like Ironsing. And also another thing to talk about, which, of course we're getting an entire new attunement to the game. Another thing to talk about is like, what path would come alongside with blood? Or what would be the status effect that comes alongside blood? Now you could take the easy way out, it says like, oh, it doesn't have any special attributes to it, it's just like elements of moves, even though that's kind of dumb and goes against what every other attunement does. Like, they all have some sort of status effect or condition they cause, such as Ironsing implanting metal rods into your opponent, which you can pull or upgrade into being Impale, Jailer, Conductor, whatever. Or Gale Breath, being able to silence or push opponents away. Thunder, being able to stun your opponent. I just think that's interesting to talk about. So, what if, and just hear me out on this, what if the entire point of Bloodweave is infected blood? Like, oh, you're using, like, I don't know, a supercharged punch infused with infected blood. Punch your opponent, some of that infected blood goes into them. You build up enough of that infected blood, you use a move, and instead of being like Ironsing where you pull them toward you, you instead slam them into the ground and stun them for a bit. So, like, if you don't have enough distance, you're not going to succeed off of it, but also, if you don't have enough blood on your opponent and you try doing it, it'll fail. I don't know, I just think that's interesting. You're controlling all this infected blood in them, and also being able to regenerate blood faster, and using your blood bar if you're out of, well, ether. I don't know, I just think that that's a very interesting concept and something I do like to talk about. Also, if you're wondering why I'm sounding different, it's because I'm actually standing up and not sitting like really close to my desk right now, because I'm just really excited for Bloodweave, man. But yeah, back on topic, like, Bloodweave, I think, has a lot of potential to be a really fun attunement to add, and I'm definitely going to make a build on Bloodweave and even talk about it in like next week's video, if it does get added next week. Or this week, rather. I'm forgetting, this is Saturday. I'm recording this Saturday because I don't have a lot of time to get this video out. Jesus Christ. Anyways, freaking, I believe this mantra, attunement, whatever you want to call it, has a lot of potential. And there's a lot of things you could do with it. And I have no idea what the status effect could be, but it is fun to talk about and kind of discuss what could it be. Is it like a pulling thing, or does it have like some sort of status effect where like, ooh, you land your blood mantras on your opponent and suddenly they take a bit more bleed damage. That feels like it'd be really broken, but it's like, I can't really think of how you'd make a status effect for blood, or if they're just gonna take the easy way out and not give it a status effect. Again, I don't know. This is just fun to talk about. And another thing, every single attunement in the game has a path, you know. Shadow has Twisted Puppets, which is a dual attunement, but I'm still gonna count because it's Shadow. Flame has Eruption. Froststraw has Glass Path. Thundercall has... was it Shock? I forget what Thundercall is called. Gale has Spectre, right? Is it called Spectre? I don't remember. It's been a bit since I used either of those. Either way, every single attunement has a path. So what would Blood's path be? Like, if we are going down the path of infected blood, what if instead of like, bam, you land shots and land infected blood into your opponent, would X just instead, I don't know, cause the infected blood to burst within the opponent, dealing more damage but taking more charges in order to build up? I don't know, this is just like... It's just tricky to talk about, because like, I know very little about the Blood Attunement, and I haven't looked at any of the leaks, because I don't really want to get spoiled on any of the leaks that have been out. So if you're looking at this video to like try and see, ooh, what are the leaks, what are the leaks, what are the leaks gonna be? This is not your video, go looking elsewhere for them. This is just me rambling, trying to decide, what could the Blood Attunement even be about? Yeah. To summarize, I just hope this attunement isn't locked behind Holotide, meaning you can only get it during Holotide. Because like new players are gonna come, they're gonna want the attunement, and like you're making them having to wait almost an entire year or to the month of Halloween in order to get this attunement. It's kind of stupid. You cannot lie. Anyways, I have a stupid Roblox Halloween costume contest I need to get to. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a great one actually. And I'll see you next time. Peace.